Okay, so now we are transitioning into some algebra material. This first one is graphing single variable inequalities. So here we just have one variable, and later on we'll do graphing with two variables in it, but graphing one variable on a number line. So here we have x is greater than 2. Now there's a couple of things to note. First, I always try to get my variable on the left side. So variable on left side. Now the reason I do that is because whichever direction the inequality symbol or quote-unquote arrow points, that's the direction that you shade. The second thing to note is the inequality symbol itself. So anytime you have an inequality symbol greater than, equal to, or less than, equal to, whenever it has the equal to symbol here, then you have to put a closed circle or a closed dot on the number line. When it does not have that, so it's just greater than or it's just less than, in those cases, then you put an open circle. So in this particular case, number 1, x is greater than 2. My variable is on the left side. I have no equal sign, so at 2, I put an open circle, and then I shade to the right. And then I put an arrow on the end of it just to note that it keeps going in that direction. Okay, problem number 2. Again, my variable's on the left. Again, I have no equal sign under it, so that means I go to 2.5, which would be halfway between 2 and 3, and I put an open circle, and it's pointing to the right, so I shade to the right again, and then again put an arrow on the end. Okay, question number 3. Again, my variable's on the left. This time I do have an equal sign under it, so this time I'm going to put a closed circle. Now 2.98, I can't be exact here, so I'm just going to get as close as I can to 3, put a closed circle. Again, my arrow's pointing to the right, so I shade to the right and put an arrow on the end. Alright, now number 4. Now my variable is not on the left. It is actually switched. So one of the things I do here is I rewrite the statement. Now what that means is when you rewrite it, when you switch the signs or switch the sides for the values, you must also switch your symbol. So it was pointing to the left, now it is pointing to the right. Another way to remember this is the alligator mouth has to continue eating whatever it did before. So when we initially started, the alligator mouth was eating B, okay, or Pac-Man or whatever you refer to it. When I rewrote it, it's the same way. The alligator mouth is still eating B. Now I can graph it. There's no equal sign under it, so I go to 6. I put an open circle. Let me change colors here. Put an open circle at 6. And then now my arrow's pointing to the right, so I shade to the right and put an arrow on the end. So rewriting it with the variable on the left side always helps me in terms of being able to graph the inequality. Alright, so number 5, very similar. Got to switch it around. So I'm going to rewrite this. So now x goes on the left, -3 goes on the right. The alligator mouth was eating the x. It's not a very good inequality symbol, but you get the drift. Okay, now go to -3, put a closed circle because it's equal to, and then my arrow's pointing to the right. So I'll shade to the right, and again put an arrow on the end. Then lastly here I have write an inequality. Okay, so I'm going to use the variable x, and again I'm just going to put my variable on the left side. I see which direction it is shaded. It is shaded to the right, so my arrow needs to go to the right, or my inequality symbol. I look at my circle. It is closed, therefore it is equal to. And then lastly, I look at where the dot is. It's at 1, so I say x is greater than or equal to 1, and that would be my inequality statement. So again, hopefully this is a review. This is something you've done, but this is considered more of an algebra skill, and no calculators necessary here.